Greetings, Honored Traveler, and welcome back to my Completionist playthrough of Diablo 2 on Hardcore. Now, before we start adventuring in Act 2, as always on normal, I'm going to first go around town and allow the NPCs to introduce themselves, so if you'd like to fast forward straight to the gameplay, there's going to be a timestamp on the screen for that. But anyway, let's talk to Jaren, the Welcome to Act 2 guy.
Greetings, Honored Traveler. I am Jaren, Lord of Lut Gholein, and I bid you welcome to my fair port city. I am glad to know that once again, caravans are free to travel through the Western Pass. For some time now, we have been under siege by an evil power that I cannot identify. Strange, it all began when a dark wanderer came this way, looking for the tomb of Tal Rasha. No one knows exactly where Tal Rasha, Keeper of Baal, is entombed, but it is certain to be far out in the desert. Now my people whisper tales of the dead rising from their tombs, and horrible creatures lurking amongst the moonlit dunes. Even I have witnessed things which I cannot explain. I've ordered the port closed and all trade ships moored until I am sure that my city is safe. Atma, the tavern keeper, has an important mission for you. Go see her immediately. You'll find her on the other side of town. Now I must return to the palace. I apologize, but I can't invite you in. Things are rather a mess right now.
Alright, so now we got our introduction to what's going on in Act 2, even though the voice acting is not that great. I've always liked it, about, the whole thing about an evil force besieging the city and undead rising in the tombs and whatnot. It's always been pretty cool. Now, Wariv the Lightbringer also is going to have a word to say.
Now that Andariel is dead, I can return and outfit the rogues properly. Once I've made some trades here, I'll be free to head back to their monastery. Let me know if you want to travel along.
Yeah, with Wariv we can, of course, go west and go back to Act 1. But anyway, we have some new people to talk to now. Deckard Cain doesn't have any intro here in Act 2, but let's talk to Lysander.
How do I know I can trust you, You may be as shifty as that pack rat Elzix who runs the inn. But if you need a potion, though, I suppose I can make you one. For a price, of course.
And yeah, speaking of potions, finally we're going to have these light mana potions available, and light healing ones, slightly better versions of potions that are going to refill our supplies a little bit better, and I think I'm going to just quickly do that right now. And yeah, let's talk to Farah now.
I know much about the ancient religions. I was trained as a paladin of Zakarum in the Eastern Koras Temple many years ago.
Yeah, hi, nice to meet you too. It's as if they forgot to give her a "Greetings, I'm Farah" line before she starts going on about, being knowledgeable in the field of religions and whatnot. She always has these normal belts. We can always keep checking if they have any nice resistances over FHR on them. Also boots, nothing interesting right now. Gloves. We are going to keep checking Farah every time we visit to see if we get any good equipment. And also we can get that sorted. We are going to switch into our shield and wand combo. I think after the first quest, we're going to give the game one last chance to kind of perhaps give us a tier rune or drop us maybe another topaz, so that we could have 3 chipped topazes that we would be able to transform into a second flawed one. We'll see. We're not going to need the lightning resistance coming from our shield just yet in this first part. Anyway, here's Mashif.
Greetings. I'm Mashif, captain of this ship here. I make port runs around the Twin Seas and occasionally out to Kingsport in Westmarch. I haven't sailed anywhere lately, though. Jaren has ordered me to stay docked here in case of emergency.
Yeah, of course, Jaren told us that he stopped all, sailing activity. Here's Atma, probably my favorite character out of the townspeople here.
I don't expect this of you, but if you want to help me, I would be grateful. In the sewers below our city, there lurks a horrid creature that hungers for human flesh. The creature has killed many, including my son and my husband. If you destroy it, I will reward you. Please, be careful, though. That beast has taken enough from us already. The sewer entrance is through the trapdoor, just up the street.
Yeah, so she's a pretty grim character, but a cool one. She can also heal you to full, and, if you're poisoned, for example, and the town portal place is going to be here, If you TP back to town, you can just quickly go to Atma to heal you, cure any poisons, and just go straight back to adventuring if that is your choice. Now we have the first quest, Radamant's Lair. That creature she talked about is Radamant, an ancient mummy. Anyway, here's Geglash. He's kind of like the comic relief character in this town with no quests or anything of significance to speak of, but let's allow him to introduce himself as well.
I don't know why you people keep pestering me. Grays seems to have this place locked down nice and tight. Not that I couldn't have done the same. I've proven my valor in combat plenty of times.
I'm sure you did, Geglash. Now Drognan here is an old sage who's going to have a different introduction because we're playing the Sorceress.
Welcome, young Sorceress, to Lutgolain. I hope your skills are a match for the horrors that lie beyond the city's walls. A mage of your limited experience may find the evil too great to withstand alone. My name is Drognan, and I know what you're up against, my friend. You ought to look over my inventory of items for trade.
Limited experience, huh? Well, strike one for you, Drognan. He is the guy with various wands and staves. If you want to shop with him, it's actually pretty fortunate that in this town layout, the exit is right here. You can just, run out, teleport back in, check his supplies, run out, teleport back in. You can quickly kind of keep checking for a good staff, for a leaf runeword perhaps as a sorceress, or if you're playing another class, maybe a teleport staff. Anyway, sometimes, the exit is of course here in the northwest, so it's not that easy. You're probably going to be checking Ormus, I guess, then in Act 3. Anyway, here's Grays.
I bet you wonder how this town manages to stay safe with all the trouble going on out in the desert. Well, I can tell you that it's got nothing to do with the local town guards. They're all in the palace for some reason. Jaren hired me and my mercenaries to help keep the peace around here. We're not cheap, but we're the best this wasteland has to offer.
So, yeah, Arcturus Mengsk here is content to keep this wasteland safe instead of trying to claim Korhal. But anyway, yeah, he allows you to hire the Act 2 mercenaries, and they are a very good type of mercenary, the most common one used because they offer an aura. Each one of these different types of these mercenaries comes with an aura, which is the main benefit of theirs, but they can also deal some physical damage if they are equipped well. They can life leech enough with good equipment to keep themselves alive. But anyway, when it comes to these three types, there's going to be an offensive, defensive, and combat mercenary. They have the same aura on normal and hell, but a different set of auras in nightmare. And also, when it comes to the normal and hell mercenaries, if you would like to have an aura of the type they offer, it's more beneficial to hire a guy in normal and level him up. He is going to end up with better stats than hiring a mercenary on hell. But anyway, the offensive ones on normal and hell have a blessed aim aura, which increases your attack rating, and on nightmare they have might, which increases physical damage. That's kind of a popular choice for some builds. And even for a sorceress, if she is well geared, a might mercenary is going to deal a lot of damage to deal with some immunes that perhaps she cannot deal with herself. Then the defense mercenary offer defiance on normal and hell, which increases defense, and holy freeze on nightmare, which is going to be our mercenary of choice. We're going to speak about Holy Freeze at length later, but it is a really nice chilling type of effect that is separate from the cold spells and cold damage. So even if a monster is cold immune, they are not immune to Holy Freeze. But anyway, more on that, of course, once we get to that point in the game. And the combat mercenaries on Hell and Normal offer Prayer, which is a kind of healing over time aura, which is very interesting with Insight. Then it provides kind of double the benefit because of the prayer synergizing the meditation. And on Nightmare, they offer Thorns, which is a, as usual, Thorns aura is going to just reflect melee damage to, or damage to melee attackers. Here's Elzix.
You look like a sturdy adventurer. You know, I used to be quite the scoundrel in my day. I led the fiercest group of bandits who ever terrorized these sands. Nowadays, I run this here inn and pretty much stay out of trouble. My days of adventuring are behind me.
Yeah, that doesn't make me like you. You mentioning that you were a leader of bandits and whatnot. He is the gambling person in Act 2. And then also we can check out the palace. Jaren mentioned that it's off limits, and this guy is going to, Kalen is going to remind us of that.
You may not pass.
Yeah, just can't go in. You can just ignore this dude. Anyway, the first quest, of course they mentioned that we should go through the trapdoor into the sewers, but this is not how we're going to proceed. They mean this door. And sometimes they're supposed to say something here at the beginning, but sometimes it doesn't trigger. It doesn't seem to want to trigger for our sorceress. Anyway, we are going to approach the sewers from a different entrance, one that is much, much closer to the passage to level 2 of the sewers. Sewers have 3 levels. Radamant is going to be on level 3, but on level 2 there's going to be a waypoint we need to flag. But anyway, I wanted to also start out in there through that trapdoor, because you'll see how far away we're going to be while entering from here. Yeah, much further away. Yeah, let's just keep going. The waypoint here usually is really close to this second entrance. And there's going to be a lot of fire damage coming our way. I don't feel like dealing with those archers, and there we go. We are already at sewers level 2. Now, this level we are going to have to explore more thoroughly to search for that waypoint. Or I guess we can just stumble upon the waypoint right away, huh? Alright, now we just need to search for the... mana potion. I'm gonna take that.
Impossible.
Now we just need to search for the passage to level 3, and we're going to be all just fine. I'm going to pick up a little bit more goodies, I think. Just something that might sell decently well. I think we need to work on our financial situation just a little bit, just to have some comfort of just being able to browse Farah's goods always, like no matter what spawns. You know, if a good item spawns in her selection, just so that we can just purchase it immediately. The gloves, boots, and belt that she might have at this point in the game can spawn with some really nice properties like resistances or FHR, or you know, boots can have faster run walk. So yeah, this might be a pretty big level, but anyway, the opponents here aren't so tough, so we might just go on, explore, get some experience, and not have to worry about too much here at all. Now also I mentioned the financial situation, and on that topic, last episode, right at the end of our adventure in Act 1, I sold to Akara that rare crystal sword that sold for around 5,000 gold. And that is because the maximum amount of gold you can get for a single item in Act 1 normal is 5,000. And that amount increases by 5,000 in every act. So in Act 2 it's already 10,000, in Act 3 normal it's 15,000, and so on. And if I had noticed that in time, I just didn't pay attention, I could have held on to that rare crystal sword and sold it here in Act 2, perhaps for, I don't know how much it was worth, maybe 7,000 for example. It would already be a little nicer, a little bit more. And here in Act 2, if I do happen to notice that an item sells for around 10,000 gold, I'm going to try to hold on to it until we're in Act 3, where, you know, we can sell it for more. Normally Radamant can spawn pretty close to the entrance to this level, so I'm not sure if I want to be exploring to the east so far. There's this one little bit in the west. I think I might just go check it out before we really venture further into these passages, because it doesn't seem like he is close. Of course, Radamant is not only the objective of the quest, but also a super unique, so we're going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone there when it comes to our objectives. And he also grants us a nice benefit of having an additional skill point. As you will see, he drops a nice skill book. Just go a little bit more into Charge Bolt, having in mind that we are going to switch off of our +2 Charge Bolt staff soon. Although perhaps when it comes to encountering Radamant... Okay, here he is. Seeing these like black, gray skeletons, these ones are resistant to lightning and they are his minions. They're a different type of skeleton, different color. I wanted you to hear that laugh. It's one of his lines once we approach him. Let's just use our static here to get his health down quickly, and I'll finish him off. These greater mummies, like Radamant, can resurrect all undead opponents nearby.
What a misguided monster.
Yeah, here's our Book of Skill. +1 skill point right there. I'm going to put it into static, just so that we can have a little bit more range. This is going to come into play not only against Agged bosses, but also against some special groups of monsters. And also, it is actually really useful against beetles, especially special beetles, champions or unique beetles. Because beetles, normally when they get damaged, they emit those charged bolts, like lightning enchanted unique monsters. But if you use static field on them and reduce their health through static field, they just don't emit charge bolts at all. That doesn't work that way on lightning enchanted monsters. They still emit charge bolts when hit by static field, but beetles do not, so that's pretty nice. Anyway, let's inform Atma of our success. She has a nice kind of ending line here.
They say that the taste of vengeance is bittersweet, but I find it to my liking. In addition to my undying gratitude, I have spoken on your behalf with the rest of the townspeople. The merchants have agreed to show their gratitude by offering their wares and services at lower rates. Oh, Jaren wants to see you too. You'll find him in front of the palace.
Alright, so now our quest is complete. We actually already started on the second quest, because we picked up that Horadric scroll. Normally you don't have to do it at all. Everything is going to proceed just the same way it always does, but Deckard Cain, of course, being a member of the Horadrim, is going to be able to read these Horadric runes here on the scroll and basically give us the synopsis of what we need to do in Act 2.
Ah, the lost Horadric scroll! What a fortunate turn of events! As the last living Horadrim, I alone have knowledge of its meaning. Now, to read the Horadric runes it bears. The Horadric mages, after binding Bale within Tal Rasha, magically sealed off his burial chamber from the mortal realm. Those same mages also crafted fearsome Horadric staves, and imbued them with the special power to open the chamber's hidden door. After nearly losing one to the thievery of a rogue sorcerer, they divided all the Horadric staves into 2 parts, wooden shaft and metal headpiece, hiding them separately to safeguard them. The Horadrim foresaw our current plight and designed the hiding places to reveal themselves to worthy heroes like you. Collect both parts of a Horadric staff and unite them using a Horadric cube. Then you may enter Tal Rasha's burial chamber.
Yeah, here's our Horadric quest. We're going to have to get the Horadric cube, the shaft of the staff, and its headpiece. And then we're going to be able to proceed further. Alright, 9 to life, small charm, I'm gonna take it. Anyway, Farah, let's see what you have. Poison resist 20, not really anything that I'm interested in. 5 magic find is way too little to spend our money on. These 11 lightning resist gloves are looking mighty fine at this point in the game. Here, 8 fire resist, I'm just going to sell them. By the time we need fire resist, we're going to have much better options to acquire it. And now, of course, you know, as Atma said, the prices of these merchants are going to be much lower. And And yeah, before we go out into the desert, let us change our gear now. So, since nothing really worthwhile dropped for us, we are just going to put this sapphire for 24 mana into this cap, and this ruby for 10 more life. That is going to be our helmet from now on, and we are going to switch to a 28 lightning resist shield combined with our 11 lightning resist gloves. This is something, a good base to start out with against these creatures that we're going to encounter. And now we also have an additional 10 FCR combined with our ring here. That puts us at 11 frames when it comes to casting. And that is going to be probably already noticeable, but also having in mind that we are going to get at level 17 our stealth runeword. That is going to allow us to reach the 37 breakpoint for 10 frames, and that is really the absolute minimum you want to have as a sorceress. Anyway, let's just get these annoying little creatures. Alright, here's the stony tomb already, and I think since it's super close to town, I'm just going to go into it. There's no point in dropping a TP because there's no waypoint in the rocky waste. We would have to progress into the next area and find the waypoint there, so I think I'm just going to do this because there is a super unique we need to deal with. And here already we have these lightning mages, but of course they are not really the reason we got all of this lightning resistance. These guys, these beetles here are, because, you know, even with 39 lightning res, they can do some damage with their charged bolts. Anyway, here's level 2. And on level 2 we have our super unique creeping feature, kind of a ghoul type of guy. Yeah, these skeletons here are going to be a little problematic. They are resistant to lightning, so they are not going to be too susceptible to our damage. It's going to take a little while to get rid of them. But anyway, since we're already at level 2, here's a special group of beetles. I'm going to weaken them with static first, and then we're going to finish them off with our charge bolt. Anyway, I was saying that since we are already at level 2, we are not that far away from completing our objective. We just need to find this creeping feature guy. Of course, as you can see, they still die to our lightning damage, just not as eagerly, I guess. Actually, I am going to take these healing potions, but I am not going to place them on our belt like that. A little chest with some potions. I welcome them. I'm gonna take them. Nice Act 3 potions, the regular ones. They're going to be a little better. Find some champs. And get me out of there. Unfortunately, even having throw on your left click doesn't prevent you from like destroying barrels and vases and stuff like that, urns. Alright, here's creeping feature. He is cold enchanted, so I'm going to keep my distance so that nasty Frost Nova on death is not going to put us into too much danger, especially considering we have no cold resistance. Alright, there we go. Are you a minion? Yes, you are. Give me that experience, bro. Alright, Grand Charm. Let's take it.
I am overburdened.
Alright, and that's it. I think I'm just going to TP back to town, check out Farah and whatnot, and we're going to be able to progress now to the next area. +1 to strength, +3 to dexterity, not significant enough for us to hold on to those items. Yeah, nothing really that interesting this time.
There's nothing the right potion can't cure.
Alright. Now, let's go into that desert once again, and now seek the exit to the next area. There is nothing else we need to do in the rocky waste. It's pretty good that we found that stony tomb so quickly. That can be a little problem, because normally in a lot of these areas, there's one point of interest and one waypoint, and usually if you find the point of interest first, you can just you know, drop a TP there and look for the waypoint, and then, you know, go through town, through the TP. Alright, this is not going to be it. Through the TP to go to that point of interest, and, you know, you're set. But in the Rocky Waste, there is no waypoint, and it might be kind of far away in the next area, in the dry hills. So perhaps, you know, there's a lot of traveling that is ahead of us. Plus, in the dry hills, there's another point of interest, the Halls of the Dead, that we need to visit to get our Horadric cube from there. And there's also a super unique to kill. So, you know, it's good that we have that stony tomb already done, and we can just focus on our next objectives. Now, when it comes to these areas, if you imagine them to be a square, the passage to the next area is always in one of the corners. So I'm going to be checking the corners. You don't need to check the whole side of a square like that. And that also comes into play in some of these areas. They are going to have like a mountain range cliff kind of separating two halves of an area. So if you know the rule about looking for the passages in the corners, right, here's the like top left corner, and here's our passage to the dry hills. You know, sometimes it will allow you to just spare yourself some time on running. Like, for example, if you know that you still have one corner to check on your side of that cliff, you know, you might go there first before you search for the stairs through the cliff. And this is going to be still the side of the area. But I think there might be that kind of cliff range once we keep going. Yeah, there it is. There's usually one stairs kind of in the middle of it, so I'm going to check the other corner first before we kind of commit to going up that cliff. All right, here's our waypoint. That's good. That's good already that we have that. Right, and it seems like in this bottom left corner there's the passage to the far oasis. Right. Before we go there, though, I am going to go and do the Halls of the Dead. This is going to be, of course, you know, a progression of our objectives, but also we are going to get quite a treasure there. The Horadric cube, a very, very useful item with tons of recipes for transmuting items into different ones, or upgrading items, you know, creating sockets, clearing sockets out of whatever they have socketed. There's like upgrading the quality of items, just outright crafting certain items. There's just plenty and plenty of recipes to use the cube for, and it also is a nice item to have in your inventory to extend it a little bit, because the cube takes 4 slots and offers 12 inside of it, so it is a nice space extender, I guess, in your inventory. Alright, here's the Halls of the Dead. Let's go right in. Alright, here we're going to have a waypoint to flag, and at the end of the whole dungeon there's going to be a super unique guarding the chest with the Horadric cube. Why there's a waypoint in an area like this, I don't really know. This is not really your kind of area you're going to progress in, and under normal circumstances there's no reason to ever come here in Nightmare, because you already have the cube. On Hell, you know, this is a level 85 area, so there might be a reason to come farm it, but usually... Alright, that's a super poison we're affected with. Let's acquire the services of Atma here to just get rid of it, and keep on trucking. Anyway, my train of thought was interrupted there. Yeah, I was saying that ancient tunnels are generally the more popular area, the level 85 area to farm in Act 2 on Hell. You know, I'm not going straight left, like, oh yeah, by the way, this is also a nice demonstration of the map rules. Because in these dungeons in Act 2, you always have to go left to find the next exit to the lower level. And these tiles kind of look like that Tetris tile piece, where, You know, you have your go forward way, go left, and go right. And usually you just go left, and going straight left is going to bring you to the exit. But sometimes, you know, you're going to have to go straight and then left somewhere. And sometimes going right 3 times is going to bring you to some area on the left in a very convoluted way where the exit is. But I'm not going left right away here because we are looking for that waypoint first. We're not looking to go to the exit right away like you would normally do. Alright, now that we have the exit, now we can go there and take the left path and see if it brings us to where we need to be. Because this dungeon has 3 levels, and on level 3 we are going to find our prize. And that's super unique, we need to kill. They're both in the same room. Alright, there we go. There we go. My zombie head might have some properties on it. Yeah, that might sell for something. I think I'm so used to going left that I just instinctively took this left path here, but alright, there it is. The chest and Blood Witch the Wild are super unique. There we go, and a level up for us. There we go. And in the chest, Horadric Cube, that we need to do a little switcheroo when it comes to our stuff, because I want to have it here. Did I just... Where's our charm, man? Oh, I put it here and dropped the axe. For a moment I was going crazy there. Going crazy, dude. Alright, we can go back to town now that we have our prize, and Deckard Cain is going to inform us that we got quite a treasure we just acquired.
You have quite a treasure there in that Horadric cube. According to Horadric lore, the cube can restore a Horadric staff. To do it, use the cube as you would a scroll. When the cube opens, place both pieces of the staff into it and use the cube's transmute power. You'll be pleased to know that the cube has other alchemical uses as well. 6 gems plus 1 sword transmute into a socketed longsword. You may also transmute 2 quivers of crossbow bolts into 1 quiver of arrows, while 2 quivers of arrows yield 1 quiver of bolts. I must leave it to you to discover other formulae. Good to see
you. As I said, there's plenty of them, and always as we gather these essential components, we are going to get the quest prompt there. Alright, Farah, what can you offer me here? Not much so far, but this 24 MF boots I am going to take for our Magic Find set. This is a nice amount for kind of like a ghetto Magic Find set. Alright, we're going to just leave it right there. Restock on potions and keep on going. Also, in preparation for teleport that we're going to acquire at level 18, I think I'm going to put even more points into energy. And yeah, go into Charge Bolt. Alright, now we just need to go to our Dry Hills. Dry Hills waypoint. And just proceed into the Far Oasis. And in Far Oasis, there's a waypoint. There's a super unique, kind of in the desert dunes, Beetle Burst, a special beetle guy that we need to kill. And there's also the Maggot lair. Oh, the dreaded Maggot lair, everyone's favorite area. And one reason to kind of delay our visit into the Maggot lair would be, you know, to wait for teleport first to have a much easier time. And I'm seriously considering it right now, especially since we already find it here. We can just drop a TP here and just try to find the waypoint. Yeah, the Maggot lair is just a series of windy, narrow tunnels, which is just a horrible pain to traverse through without something like teleport. But I don't know, we might just have to suffer through it on normal and then just teleport through it as quickly as possible in Nightmare in Hell. Yeah, that's basically kind of the current speedrunning strategy for the Sorceress, is to farm to level 18 on Beetle Burst, and then once you have teleport, you just go and do all of the objectives. But I guess we're kind of going to see what the game gives us here. We're not going to get 2 more levels, so I'm just going to, I think, proceed in the kind of straightforward, let's say, intended way, just to do the Maggot lair once we find our waypoint here, and hopefully Beetle Burst somewhere along the way. Beetle Burst. This area really bugs me, you could say. And also looking, of course, for the passage to the next area, the Lost City. Here's our cliff passage. I don't think there's much to explore here on this side of the cliff. So let's just check out this one. Yeah, from close enough, you know, a lot of these charge bolts hit a large target like these bugs there and just kill them in one shot. Stamina Shrine is pretty nice here. I'm not gonna complain about it not being some kind of a bigger caliber of a shrine. Stamina is nice too in these areas. Seeing how much we have to run. Especially since we're running a little bit low on our stamina potions, I think, in our inventory. What are you saying there, Sorceress? Of course you can carry that. Anyway, I would really like to see Beetle Burst or a waypoint right about now. Also exploring the borders of these areas, these corners, makes me think I did explore not thoroughly enough that top left corner. I think it's going to be there. The passage to Lost City. Impossible. Alright, Beetle Burst, bro. Where are you, man? Alright, at least we have the waypoint. I was about to go like, oh, Beetle Burst. Where are you, my sweet? Let's restock on those stamina potions there. Farah, I would really appreciate a nice belt. And now we need to go to our town portal now. Oh, by the way, of course Atma told us that Jaren was looking for us as well, so actually let's do that conversation, one that you like never do until much later. Oh, there he popped up.
Hello.
Yeah, let me click on you.
I have heard of your many deeds of skill and bravery. I feel I can trust you with something I have been hesitant to speak of. Drognin and I have concluded that the Dark Wanderer who passed through here recently was Diablo himself. Drognin believes that Diablo is searching the desert for the secret tomb where the great Horadric mage, Talrasha, keeps Baal imprisoned. You must find Diablo and put an end to the terrible evil that has fallen upon our city. Drognin is wise and is sure to have some helpful advice for you as to how Talrasha's tomb may be found. It may take you quite some time to find the tomb. May you be ready when you do.
Alright, so they finally figured out that the Wanderer is Diablo, huh? So now we got this final quest to find the Talrasha's tomb, but just like Jaren said, it's going to take a while before we arrive there. Alright, so... yeah, I guess we go to the Maggot lair. Without teleport, and without claiming the the waypoint in the Lost City. Yeah, this is not going to be pretty. We're going to have to be in close proximity to these beetles for our charge bolts to really do anything, and of course they have a super easy time when they want to block us. We're just going to have to fight our way through, and it's just... oh yeah, they're charge bolts. In some situations, I think if you stand to the bottom left of them, their charge bolt, I think, have the best way of hitting you. But also, I guess if you're... yeah, if you stand a little bit further away, when you are in the top right of them, you can get a lot of damage. Like a surprising amount of damage when there's a... especially a special beetle. Just a surprising amount of damage can hit you all at once here in these narrow hallways. So I am going to take this kind of carefully. I don't want to die on normal. And even, like, you know, 40 lightning resist is not going to keep us that safe, you know. I do want to kill these guys because they are a unique group. Cold enchanted guy there. They do give some experience. And alright, those are just normal beetles and they are kind of stuck before that egg. So let's just keep on moving, I think. Generally in the Maggot lair... okay, can you open that door? Finally. They can be a little buggy. But yeah, generally in the Maggot lair, in the first 2 levels, you have to go right from the first tile, so it kind of faces to the top right. That means that we need to go to the bottom right, somewhere to the right where the whole level is, essentially. There's going to be our exit. I'm just kind of exploring wherever is the most convenient to go, whichever path is the least blocked, or the least inconvenient, but... yeah, it doesn't seem like... do I need to save and quit? No. No, that's fine. We're fine. Nothing's going on.
Yes?
No danger we are in. And Clasp Orb, anything nice? +1 to cold skills. That might be something to hold on to later, if we get some FCR from a different source. Because now this 10% FCR that we have on our wand is very important, especially in the context of... making that stealth rune word and reaching that 37 FCR breakpoint. That is more important. And of course right now, only because of our wand, we're at the 20 breakpoint. Anyway, I'm going to hold on to that orb though. And let's just continue slugging our way through this terrible place. And sometimes, you know, when you turn right from your starting tile, you can sometimes get to the exit onto the next level right away, but it seems like this level 1 map at least is not very nice for us.
I can't.
Yeah, these maps are, yeah, like sometimes when you just are not in the right position relative to these beetles, you can get hit with some burst, man, with some lightning burst. Right, whew. At least we found our exit. Let's hope that level 2 is going to be kinder for us.
Impossible.
Do I want to stay here? Do I want to? I think I need to save and quit. That is terrible. That is just terrible. Because that means we have to go through that level 1 all over again. I wanted to click Loot Ghislaine. I wasn't going to risk it there. Wasn't going to chance it. With that amount of health. That was I think I could have just used a inventory TP and get out of there that way, but well, let's play it safe, I guess. All right, at least it's not that long of a run to reach the Maggot lair. But yeah, this is what it what it came down to, I guess. Just, quickly checking if there are any special groups there. And yeah, even though we know the way here, it's going to be a pain. At least we have these locusts, these itchies and whatnot. They are not too hard to deal with.
Impossible.
Oh, also, since we just hit level 17, we are going to have to go to town right away. Yeah, and make our stealth rune word. You can actually make it earlier on yourself, like in this chest piece, when you're not level 17 yet. And you are actually going to get the benefit of the properties that stealth gives you, even though it's not going to be displayed on your character, and you're only going to get those benefits for a limited amount of time, because in Diablo 2 there's kind of a check the game makes every 96 seconds, I think, and before that check happens you can actually, have the benefits of stealth armor even when you are not level 17. But anyway, the stealth is done by putting Tal and Eth runes in that order. If you put it, Eth first and then Tal, you're going to break it. It's not going to succeed. But now that we have stealth, just look at this beauty. 25 faster run walk, faster cast rate, faster hit recovery. Dang, that is so good on basically like every class early on if you start from nothing, but especially for, of course, any caster class, that's just amazing. And that 25 FCR, of course, brings us to 45 FCR in total, so we reached that 37 breakpoint. Of course, having a little bit more poison resist and, that magic damage reduction by 3 is pretty nice early on in normal, and you can see how fast we're running already. And our casting is going to be faster by 1 frame again. And here's our guy again. Let's just weaken him with static and then finish him off. What are you doing dropping me all of these minor potions, man? This is already way too late for these potions to do anything. I don't want such trash. Wanted to go in deep there and weaken them with static from a close distance, but I don't want to risk it too much. Now, also when it comes to beetles, they're of course a kind of a double-edged sword, because, they are very dangerous with their natural charge bolt, as you've been able to see already. But you're also kind of happy to see them, maybe not here exactly, but, in far oasis, for example. I'm also kind of happy to see them because they grant great experience. Might have to bring some rejuves into here. These guys are... Oh, there's a buggy door. If these guys are going to be nasty like that, we might have to bring some rejuves for safety, because I certainly don't want to save and exit again and go through this level 1 another time. I think next time, if we need to restock on potions next time in town, I think I'm going to pick up a couple of rejuves. Anyway, please tell me that this area right there is an exit. At least let's have level 2 being nicer. Oh, come on, guys. Just walk into my charge bolts. Okay, just be nice. Step right into your death, why don't ya? Alright, making our way through. And it's not it. Alright, have it your way, game.
Impossible.
Actually, I can't even see that well.
I can't.
Alright, let's try this passage. I was about to say that, you know, that map. It's not, sometimes, like, depending on how you're aligned with the terrain here, sometimes you can't even see it that well. Where you're supposed to go. Of course, we're blocked everywhere. Can we have a couple of nice corridors that are empty? Let's check this one. No exit. Oh man. Alright. At least these last passages were empty, and now we're in level 3. Level 3 you always go straight. This tile is always kind of positioned the same. You always go kind of to the top right to reach that final chamber with the super unique and the chest that holds the Horadric staff's shaft. So again, kind of a double whammy there in that last chamber. It's super unique for us. And that staff.
Impossible.
Out of my way. I'm just clearing this passage because, of course, you know that if there is that final room soon, these guys are just going to sneak up on me from behind and create problems. Alright, there we go. This large bug in there is the cold enchanted guy that we're going to keep our distance from. Oh, an L rune. El rune.
Impossible.
It's kind of like La Runa. Prendi questa runa, Maeve! Alright, va bene.
I am overburdened.
Oh, you know what, actually. Let's just put that staff shaft right in there, and nice. We are done with that nightmare. We're done with that traumatic experience. Now let's listen to some soothing words by Cain.
The Staff of Kings! You astound me, my friend. You have discovered the shaft portion of a Horadric staff. I trust you know how to use a Horadric cube to unite the shaft with its headpiece.
Well, it's not rocket science, Cain. You just click where you need to click to use the cube, so to speak. Anyway, Farah, can you at least give me something like... Well, this belt is better than nothing, but I would appreciate some nice resistances, perhaps, and belts can have FHR on them as well. Alright, let's get that going. And, you know, I would really like to kind of finish our... far oasis kind of adventure by getting that beetle burst kill. Let me just check this area quick. Yeah, he's probably going to be up on this side of the cliff, but how did I miss him before, man? I just wasn't checking. Like, thoroughly enough. Let me just check these ruins over here. I think I kind of ran past them most Alright, there he is. There's our boy. There's our boy Beetle Burst. Alright. There he goes. Nice, now we have all of our objectives completed.
I am overburdened.
And now I will be able to end this episode with a peace of mind. Actually, that Unraveler head, let's take it to our cube, and yes, the Far Oasis is completed, and we're almost level 18, so basically from the start of the next episode, we're going to be able to enjoy teleporting around, although not that much, because these really bad mana potions are not going to allow us to teleport that much. We are going to have to make pauses in it. Basically, only the Act 4 potions are good enough to allow constant, like, chain teleporting. But anyway, I think we're going to talk all about that and more in the next episode. And let's just end this one by checking out our stuff. Making one last check of... oh wow, whoa, these are even way better for Magic Find than the boots I bought earlier, and they give us 18 fire resist. That's just all around better, just to have on all the time. Alright, this might sell for something, and we might also get these boots sold. Yeah. Yeah, 6.6k for that that zombie head. Anyway, and this is going to be it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.